The only sex advice my mom had given me growing up was, if you get pregnant, you're going to get an abortion. That's all I knew. Within 6 months, I'm pregnant. I'm like almost 18.
You know you're pregnant, right? So you went ahead and
I had the 3-day abortion.
3-day abortion.
And then I went through depression because I was...
Okay. It's literally like a spirit of death. And we've dealt with that.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know that this is real stuff.
When I got home, it was literally World War III.
Right.
Yeah, he was chasing me around the house. Like, eventually he had caught me and was sitting on top of me and like choking me out. And all I could think was like, really? My mom just died 2 days ago. And you're like choking me? Like, that's when I needed him the most. And I feel like that's when like all the cares just left. Like, I didn't give up.
I'm basically living at your apartment, just being candid, because I feel like had I had wholeness in that area, it would have avoided a lot of trauma in our own relationship.
When we started going to church and I started like reading and learning, then I was like kind of conflicted, because It was like, I'm reading this, but we're doing this.
And I would try to justify it by, well, you know what? I'm going to marry this woman. So technically, I'm going to be devoted to her. And, but, that's not the thing to do, We're in a good place now, but 14 years of intimacy kind of struggles and things of that nature kind of sprung from those early days.
Baby, don't you know I'm a real soul shaker?
Welcome to another episode of the Soul Shaker podcast. I'm TJ O'Donnell. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you've been really enjoying the podcast. Again, I never thought that this is something that I would be doing in life. So I guess I have to give thanks to my partner in crime over there that pushes me to do things. Mike, my producer, Scafidi. Say hi, Mike.
Yo, I'm over here. Hi.
Yeah. And Angela is somewhere. I don't know where she's at. She should be here, but she's not. And she's probably studying because that's what she does. She's a studier. But we're approaching, again, 1,000 subscribers. And if you would do me a favor, please like and subscribe and share this content. Our heart's desire is that people have something really authentic to press into. We're not professionals. We just want to share our lives and our hearts and relationships, challenges and all. Like, the whole idea of Soul Shaker is getting to the heart and soul of real people and real issues. And none of us agree on everything, but we can be committed to one another. And that's what I want to display. And so, man, thank you for supporting. As you can see, things are quite a bit different today, and there's a reason for that. I have a very special guest that's coming on the show, and I'm really nervous about this because this is the absolutely most important person in my life, next to Jesus Christ. And you can imagine I'm talking about my wife, and I have her with me here today. And man, we were talking about this and never thought in 1,000 years that we would be sitting here doing stuff like this. But how do I even introduce how amazing she is? Like, she's a great mother, a great wife. She's my best friend. Like, we laugh at the same stuff. We like the same things. It's a very unique, cool relationship. We're completely different people, though. I'm quite a bit dynamic, is what our counselor likes to say. I just am all over the place all the time. She's very simple and concise about things, but it's an amazing way that God brings us together and works things out. And I'm super excited to have her here. Matt, I can go on and on all day about it, so I'll just bring her in. Welcome, my wife, Shauna.
Hi.
Hi, babe.
Hi, babe.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous too. But like I said, we were talking about this, and like, did you even think in 1,000 years that we'd be sitting in front of the camera sharing our life story?
No.
No.
Did you?
What did you sign up for?
I didn't
what
know.
are you doing to me? Well, what did you kind of imagine when we first got together? Did you even, think about what is my life going to be like in 10 years? And I know we were both really going through a lot of trauma. We've overcome so many things. And I'm hoping that's what we can get to today, is that people can see that, gosh, I think there's not a barrier or struggle in life that we both haven't encountered. And even in our marriage, and by the grace of God, been able to overcome. But I mean, when we got together, what did you have any thoughts on what our life would be like?
Yeah, no. I mean, we went to church in the beginning, and I feel like that we were going to be an influence. I really didn't know how. Maybe for me, because when I came to church, like I didn't grow up in church. So
Right.
like seeing people that I would hang out with, I did not see in the church.
Right.
So yes, when I looked at us, I felt like we were a little different than your average churchgoer. So I felt like, we might have been an influence.
Which is crazy, because even along my journey in faith, I also didn't grow up in church. And that was always kind of a strange thing. And I talk about that, in my testimony, as part of my testimony in my book, that we didn't have any Christians really in our family. And so for me, having gone through all the stuff that I went through, and then, getting together with you, I had already been part of the church for 12 years or something like that. And I kind of brought you into that. So it was kind of a trip. It's one thing that I think we even identified with was, we know this is a place where we can get healthy, but it is very different from where we came from. You know what I mean? So, but can we just really talk about, like, I want people to know, like, how you grew up, like, maybe some of the good, bad, and the ugly, just kind of where you grew up, how you grew up, and stuff like that. Can you talk about that? Can you share that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's funny because, doing hair, I do talk a lot about my past and stuff, but it's always in like little bits and pieces. It's not like the whole story. So,
and you got to like keep it all in perspective. And
I mean, and then just trying to figure out like what points you want to hit, because obviously it's very detailed.
Totally.
But in the beginning, my grandparents in the 50s, 1950, they purchased a large plot of land in the mountains in California.
Right.
And it was a nudist camp.
Wow.
You didn't know that?
There you go, world.
I guess that was the thing to do back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that time, so my dad was basically raised there. They bought it when he was 2.
Wow.
So I'm sure he had his struggles, trying to deal with going to school, but living in a nudist camp. I don't know. I haven't really talked to him about it, but eventually my grandparents got divorced, and they split it in half. And so my grandma kept the side where people would come and camp and, run around naked for the weekend. And then my grandpa kept the side where it was just the land. But he still had control over her because he leased her the property to get into it. So basically, it was just ugly.
I don't even think I knew that.
It was, you probably don't know a lot of little things.
Probably not.
But basically, he was not a good guy. I guess he used to molest my aunt when she was little.
Wow.
And so my dad has never had a relationship with him. My dad always hated him. I think he was really mean too. Like he beat him a lot growing up.
Yeah.
So growing up, running around up there, we always had to stay away from him. Like if we saw him, we had to stay away. And so I'm sure that,
I bet that was confusing too, huh? Like,
and fearful.
My grandfather, like
bad man run.
Right.
So that was weird. So we never had a relationship with him growing up, obviously.
And obviously church life or any religious stuff.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was like, was it peace, love, and rock and roll? I don't know what it was back then.
Right. coming out
hippie
of the
days.
hippie
Yeah.
movement. Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously growing up there, we didn't live there growing up, but we would be there on the weekends and all the time. So it didn't really seem weird because you didn't know any different, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it, like what kind of people are attracted to running around naked on the weekends when there's kids, right?
Right.
So you get a lot of perverts, you get a lot of swingers, and that's just what we grew up with. So my dad and mom had some property in Menifee where I grew up.
Right.
And they would have friends, come over, whatever. So anyways, they had this one couple friend that came over, and we had hung out with them many times before. They'd bring us gifts when they'd come over. So we got excited when they'd come.
Right.
And one weekend they stayed at our house, and I think I was like 8 or 9. Like I really don't remember how old I was.
Right.
But it was before my parents got divorced. And since I was the oldest, I had my own room. So they put them in my room and then put me in my sister's room. And then my little sister, I think she was like 5 at the time, she was in bed with my parents. And so we're sleeping, and I wake up to this guy coming into our room and like kind of like grabbing me and then like start touching me weird. And I'm like, I'm half awake. I'm like, what's happening?
And you're
Is
like
this
8 or 9 years old.
normal? I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
But I think that's really where like that like flight, freeze, or flight, what is it?
Yeah. So typically
Freeze.
the way you deal with there's 3 typical ways of dealing with something. Either you're a fighter, you're a flighter,
yes.
or you're a freezer.
I don't know why that wasn't coming to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't learn about the freeze until years later in counseling, but
Right.
when she brought that up, I was like,
That's
yeah,
when it
because I
started.
totally just froze. I didn't know what to do.
Right.
And then like, what little kid can't go run to their parents when something happens like that, like
That's
for
right.
comfort or like, so obviously that wasn't there at that age. So after that happened, like the next day, like I didn't say anything. I was like shut down. And so
why don't you think you said something? Like what was happening inside of you to go?
shame, there's a lot of shame that came in. That's probably when I noticed it, because before that, like the whole going to the nudist camp, I didn't really feel shame at that point. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Until someone makes you feel that way.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that's when shame came in. And then it was like months later, and we heard that these people were coming back over, and I freaked out.
Wow.
And I was like, I got to tell my mom. How am I going to tell her? So I made my little sister, because she was in the room too. I was like, I'm going to start it, and then you're going to finish it.
You're like,
My
tell
poor
the
sisters.
I got to bring the
I know.
sisters
I was
in on
oldest.
this.
I was always being mean to them. And so I was like, so I kind of started it, and then I made her finish it. And then so my mom was like, wait, what? And then, she told my dad, and I just remember them coming and my dad meeting him at the gate and telling him something. I don't know what he told him, and they left. And, I was like, because my safety was at stake.
Right.
But, my mom would ask me like little questions like, well, did this happen? And then that was it. Like there was no talking
real
about it.
processing or talking
There was
through it.
nothing. It was like swept under the rug. And I think that's where I just learned how to shove things down. I don't know. I didn't learn how to process it as a young age. So that just kind of piles up,
Yeah. And then like, obviously you're going to school and stuff, growing up in this nudist camp. How was that dynamic?
Yeah, that didn't really come in until I hit about, I think after my parents got divorced, my mom kind of moved all over the place. And at one point we were living up at the camp because my mom couldn't afford much.
Oh, I see.
And so I had to go to school living there. And that's when, the more shame, I guess, came in.
Yeah. Well, what would happen though? Like,
So yeah, I'd have to take the bus, and the bus would drop you off
wow.
right in front of
Oh
like
my gosh.
the sign and then the dirt road that you take to
Right,
get back
well-
there. And, girls would yell out the bus window and call me names, and I was just so embarrassed. I just want to like crawl in a hole and die, because it's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
So that's when I really noticed, like, yeah,
Shame.
yeah, don't say anything. It's weird.
Right.
You're weird. Your family's weird.
Yeah. And I don't know if I took you off track there. I know you were sharing
No,
some
I think
other
that was
things,
the
but
next.
was it?
Yeah, because nothing really happened like
Yeah.
significantly from.
But all these things are shaping, things now that you're moving into as you start getting older, and decisions you're making and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was very shy.
Mm.
I was very insecure.
Yeah.
My dad, I really feel like because of how his dad was,
Yeah.
I think my dad just didn't know how to show love in a
Sure.
healthy way.
Yep.
Obviously, he didn't receive that from his parents.
Yeah.
So, not having your dad's love in that way, really
Totally.
was, I guess, hard. You just feel empty.
Mm.
And plus, he was very strict.
Mm.
So that came off as mean, like
Yeah.
we're always getting spanked with the belt. We're always getting
Yeah.
on restriction.
And in some respect, I kind of get it. It's like same thing with my parents. Like this stuff's kind of passed down, and probably in his heart and mind, he's thinking he's protecting,
Yeah,
but he's just missing it. You know what I mean?
for sure.
But yeah, so I get that.
Growing up on 5 acres in the middle of nowhere and not really allowed to do anything.
Mm.
And, just, I was really rebellious. I didn't really care.
Right.
So once I got into high school, on the weekends, we'd go find a field and party and whatever. And I was always like trying to talk my friends into like smoking a joint or doing the bad things. Like I was that bad friend.
I can't even imagine you like that.
I know. I was so
That's so
shy, but I was like,
crazy.
let's go do something bad. Let's buy a joint from this kid and go smoke it in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. So yeah, just partying a lot in high school. And that's when I met my ex.
Mm.
Do I say his name?
Probably not.
We don't have to
Doesn't
say his
matter.
name.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just call him my ex.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were at some house party and he came walking in, and obviously just being rebellious, I was like, oh, who's that?
And he's
guy?
older, right? Like
He was older, but all my friends, Carrie and Becca, they're all, he's crazy. They call him Crazy Ed. You don't want to,
wow.
whatever. Yeah.
Oops.
So.
Oops. There it is.
Anyways.
Bleep it out.
So, so yeah, I started dating him, and then within 6 months, I'm pregnant. I'm like almost 18, maybe 18. Yeah. And I'm pregnant. And the only sex advice my mom had given me growing up was, if you get pregnant, you're going to get an abortion. That's all I knew. So, of course, my first thought was, okay, I'm going to get an abortion.
Huh.
And at first, he seemed kind of like, what do you mean? You're going to get rid of it? And then it like, so then I go down. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm 17. I can't do this.
Huh.
So I go down, and something happened with my insurance. And so they wouldn't do it. They said, you had to go take care of your insurance.
Holy smokes.
Come back. So I go figure out the insurance thing and go back down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with my cousin, and I told her, I'm like, if something happens or, this doesn't happen today, then like something's telling me that I need to keep it. So I go down, and at this point I'm too far along. I'd have to do like the 3-day one.
Yep.
And I had already told myself, like, if it doesn't happen, then I'm keeping them. And so when I came back and told him, then he was kind of upset and was like, well, wait, I thought you said you were going to do it. Like, what does that stop you now? And I'm like, because I already made a deal, that
Right.
if something happens, I can't get it done, then.
Still there.
So he stays. He doesn't leave or anything. And then shortly after that, we got our own place. And that's kind of where things got bad. Is, he started pushing me around when I was pregnant.
Huh.
And then we got married. And so I think Eddie's only a couple months. And then I go and get on birth control. They do a pregnancy test before they put me on. It was the shot, the Depo-Provera shot.
Right.
They put me on birth control. They do a pregnancy test before they give you that to you. I guess it came back clear. I don't know. Anyways, so a few months go by and I'm starting to get a belly. And I'm like, what is happening?
So you had Eddie.
I had Eddie. He was a few months.
You're married. It's not good.
He was pushing me around. It wasn't like anything more than that, but it was still being, like
controlling
you don't push your pregnant wife around.
Yeah, for sure.
And at that point, I had a car. So then he was taking my car to go to work. So I was just stuck at home all day long, just raising a kid.
Wow.
At 18. So then I find out I'm pregnant.
Right.
And at this point, I'm not happy. I'm like, he's abusive. I already got a kid with him. I'm 18. Like, I literally cannot have another kid right now.
Wow.
So I go down to have an abortion. I find out that I'm like 4 or 5 months at this point. So now I have to do the 3-day one. You got to go down into LA. It was scary as hell.
Wow.
And so it's they do something the first day, the second day, and then the third day they go in and take the baby out. And after that, I literally went through depression.
Yeah.
Because I already had a baby. So I'm like, I just killed my baby. What am I doing? And obviously my home life was awful. I had no one to console me or grieve with me. And so, yeah, that was rough.
So what did you do at that point? Now you're pregnant. You're pregnant, right?
After I had an abortion.
So you went ahead and
I had the 3-day abortion.
3-day abortion.
Mm-hmm. And then I went through depression because I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is where, jumping ahead a little bit, people don't understand. And I think we can talk about this later when you continue your story, but people don't realize that these are the open doors, right? That allow demons to come in.
Yeah.
Because we've walked through a lot of this stuff. And, it's not a coincidence that you have this abortion and then you have this intense depression. It's literally like a spirit of death. And we've dealt with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want people to know that this is real stuff. Like, we've dealt with this stuff, fortunately, because we're now believers, and, this is how the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, through your trauma.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's not our fault. We've been afflicted. And so the beauty of the grace of God is he comes along and empowers us to be delivered, to be freed from all that past trauma. But like in any law, it actually has to be enforced. Right. So, wow, now you're married. Life's not great. Relationship's not great. You already have a kid. You went through abortion. You're going through depression. And then what happens from there?
I mean, just years of, obviously the fighting was getting worse.
Right.
At this point, I'm getting tired of being hit, so I'm fighting back, which makes it worse.
Yeah.
So I'm unhappy. And, I had a cousin who was not doing great in her life. And I've seen her go through abusive relationships. And I was always the first one to be like, why do you put up with that?
Right.
And so then again, that shame, feeling shame, like I can't tell anybody about this because I can't do anything about it. I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And so I think I slowly started taking steps to be able to take care of myself. I went to beauty school. I got my nail license for a manicurist. And I was, trying to make my own money because I never knew, it was not stable.
Yeah.
And so,
and And were you guys together at this time, or did you split up, get back together?
I mean, we always split up and got back
together.
together.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many times I can't. But, you know, he's manipulative. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Let's make it work. Our family. Yeah. And, you know, we both came from broken families. So you try even harder to not come from that.
Totally.
So Eddie was about 3, and my ex had gotten in trouble. And that's not the first time. He's always had court dates here and there.
Right.
But this time, the judge was tired of him.
Right.
And went playing and put him away for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 21 with a 3-year-old. I'm working. I'm making just enough to pay my bills.
Yeah.
Where I didn't have to have any kind of assistance. I moved in with my mom, and she obviously helped me raise my kid.
Yeah.
And I was a mom during the week, and then on the weekends I'd be partying with my friends because I'm 21, 22.
Totally.
And I'm free.
Right.
I don't have a controlling, abusive someone that I have to, you know,
right,
check in with.
Yeah.
So about a year in, I meet a guy that lived in a different town, and we had dated for about a year, and it was a good relationship. There was nothing bad. You know, he was a good guy.
I don't even like thinking about that stuff, but keep going. Like, ew.
But that's
babe.
It's important because
I'm going to take it because you're my love of my life. I love you.
It was important because it made me realize I could have a normal relationship, that I wasn't doomed to be in a dysfunctional, like it wasn't all my fault. But so that ended because my ex got out of jail, you know, and
that other guy wasn't like me. We'll stick up for you no matter who comes at you.
Exactly. So, of course, you know, tugging on the family heartstrings.
Right.
You know, and Eddie's got his dad back. And so, yeah, I broke up with that guy and got back together with my ex. And, of course, that didn't last much longer before, you know, the abuse started again.
Right.
And at that point, I was like, okay, I need to do something to like make sure I can take care of myself. And so that's when I went back to hair school.
Got it.
So I'm like, at least as a hairdresser, I can make some money. Yeah. So in that time, I went to school again, just years of on and off. And then I think the next biggest thing is my mom got diagnosed with lung cancer.
Wow.
And when she got diagnosed, I think I just knew right away. I think I cried more at that point than after she died because I was like,
you already kind of...
Her dad died of lung cancer at 55. She was 54. Like, it was all too familiar. So that was quick. 6 weeks later, she passed. So it's not like there was time to even process it. And again, I'm trying to hold a full-time job, be a mom.
And you and your mom were close.
We were close. She, you know, we were close because I think she felt guilty for not being a great mom growing up. So she kind of did what she could at my young adult age to, you know, and she helped me raise my son. We were close. So, I think 2 days after she passed, I was with my sisters at my aunt's house, and we were trying to get together her pictures and stuff for her funeral. And my ex had called, and mind you, this is summertime.
Yeah.
And he was like, he just got Eddie's report card. And he's like, did you see Eddie's report card? And I'm like, no, I'm busy right now.
Right.
But he got mad that I kind of blew him off. So when I got home, it was literally World War III.
Right.
Yeah, he was chasing me around the house. Like, eventually he had caught me and was sitting on top of me and like choking me out. And all I could think was like, really? My mom just died 2 days ago. And you're like choking me? Like, that's when I needed him the most. And I feel like that's when like all the cares just left. Like, I didn't give a F about nothing after that. And, you know, obviously I didn't leave, but I was trying to make my exit because you got to get stuff in order. You can't just like take off, you know?
Right.
So yeah, about 2 months. I think it took about 2 months. He was at work one day and my dad came with the trailer and my sisters and we packed up my house and I left. Because when he went to jail, no, wait, let me think. No, okay, I left. My dad paid for my divorce. My dad never liked him.
Right.
So so I left. I put my stuff in storage. My sister gave me a room in her house.
Yeah.
And I was miserable. I was so depressed. I was so sad. I was doing drugs. I was partying. I just did not want to feel anything. I was just trying to numb every feeling. Like I could not be by myself. Like I either had to be doing something, I had to be going out. I could not just have quiet time. Like it was almost like maybe detoxing. You're just crawling,
Right.
So I think that was about a year. And then the ex comes back and is like, I've been going to counseling and I think if we both gave it 100%, we could make it work. And I'm like at the lowest of the low. So of course I want to believe anything. So at this point I go back and my whole family's mad at me now. Like my dad's done. My sisters are done, which obviously
you're already divorced, right?
We're divorced. I left. So I go back and the only reason why it lasted 11 months is because he was working out of state. But when he came home, because he got laid off, he was on pills really bad. Like I would count them. He would get up and pop like 5 or 6 of the strong ones. And he'd go down and putz around and then he'd come back up and pass out for hours. And then when he'd come down, like we would just fight. Anyways, so that was probably the worst fight we'd ever been into. Like he was dragging me on the floor about my hair. He was like smashing me up against the wall. And at this point he was renting an apartment from his dad on his dad's property. And I ran up to his dad's house and I was like, let me in, I'm done. And he's like, what's going on? And after that,
oh wow, his dad stepped up.
Yeah, his dad let me in, let me stay the night in the house. And then of course the next day, like, I'm so sorry, whatever. So then I go to work and I'm like, I need out. I need to do something. And so I go home. My friend from work is like, you can stay at my house. I go home. He literally does his morning thing, all the pills, passes out. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. He's in the living room on his air mattress that he'd blow up. And I literally I was like, all I need right now are my clothes to get to work because I just got to get to work. I must have taken 10 loads of stuff past him down the stairs, loading my car because he's gone.
Dude.
I load up my car to the brim and I go to work and I'm like, so just let you guys all know, this is what happened.
God.
He might show up. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm in the back room and the receptionist comes in and she's all, he's here. And everyone's like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? And before we figure out what to tell him, he's already back there and he's like, give me your keys. I'm like, nope, I'm sorry. I told you I'm not doing this anymore and I'm really done.
Yeah.
I gave you one more shot that you didn't even deserve.
Right.
And yeah, I was done. I was like, I'm not going to be 40 years old getting my ass beat.
Right.
I'm just not.
Right.
And so I wouldn't give him the keys. He got mad, kicked the car, left, whatever. And that was it. I got an apartment and I was trying to work through, just get my life back because I'm usually a happy person. I like to have fun.
Is that when you had the place on Clinton Keith there?
Yep. So one day I was at work and no, let me go back. So at this point I'm listening to self-help books, right?
Yeah.
Speaking it into existence.
Right, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm ready.
You and Angela should have been friends at the time.
I want someone tall, dark hair, light eyes, tattoos. I wanted you to have a truck. I was just, I didn't know.
Right.
Someone who's going to treat me good. I knew what I didn't want. So now I just had to find what I did want.
Right.
And so I was at work and I was talking to one of the girls that had just started there. And we were talking about dating, and she's talking about the guys that she's dating. And then she starts showing me their pictures, and I was telling her what I was looking for. And then she starts showing me pictures of friends that she knew that looked like that.
Right.
And when your picture came up, and I was like, oh, he's kind of cute.
Kinda.
I don't want to be
You didn't want to be too eager, right?
No.
That dude's like freaking smoking.
So she's like, I could hook it up. And I'm like, no, that's kind of weird. I'm like, I don't know. And then I was on my way home from work, and I'm like, well, maybe I should. Like, how else am I going to meet someone nice, you know? Because meeting him at the bars wasn't working. And so I had messaged her, and like shortly after, I got a phone call from you.
Hey, baby, what's your sign?
No, I think I was more asking you that.
Right. I was a mess at the time too. You guys listen to my side of the story, but yeah.
Yeah. So we exchanged like Facebooks, and I was prowling and looking, and
and I had, like people know from, listening to the other episode, but I had went through divorce, pastor, tried to open a tattoo shop, clothing store, use it for evangelism, which you probably didn't even know the Jesus stuff at the time.
Well, no, but obviously you owning a tattoo shop was like, oh, okay, he's a business owner and it's a tattoo shop.
Was that
he's
on
cool.
the list? Like tattoo?
That wasn't on the list, but it added to it.
Hey.
So then
Yeah.
we decided to meet the next night for dinner.
Yeah, I remember, man, just for me, I was wrestling because I knew I wasn't living the way God wanted me to live. I was so hurt. I was so confused. And I didn't not want to be married. I didn't not want to lose my family. I wanted to restart. And all these girls are just no good. It was like Satan was sending all the worst stuff. And then even the girl I was talking to was not a good person that hooked us up. You know what I mean? I mean, not that she's not a good person, but she just was not in a good place. Right.
Yeah.
And, man, I just remember the first time I saw you, tattoo shop was busy, I had saw your picture when she sent me this random message. I thought we were kind of had a little thing going. She sends me this message like, hey, I know this sounds weird, but I have this friend. And I'm like, okay, this is weird, but I just think that she knew that I wasn't really that type of person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I asked her if she was dating you, she's like, no, we're not dating. So that's why I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No lines crossed. But so I'm like, she's like, can I send you a picture? I'm like, okay. Of course she sends me your picture, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'll call her up, So yeah, I think I sent a text message or something, and then we kind of corresponded.
Yeah.
Did I actually call you before? I don't know if I called you.
I don't know.
It was a text message.
Maybe a text message.
But yeah, you walked into the tattoo shop and it was busy. I mean, it was a busy night. It was a lot going on, and I don't want to be cliche and dumb, but it literally was like the room stopped. And It was like,
oh God.
like, it's the one.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, yeah, I just remember stopping and going, wow, okay. And then, our first conversation was really just like, hey, give me a moment. Like, I'm going to wrap things up here. And I think we went to dinner, right? I think I was going to take you out to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting at dinner, like thinking, man, this woman's beautiful. Like, I even look at you now. I'm like, you're just beautiful.
Mm.
But you were really shy.
Yeah.
and
There's
like,
a lot of shame.
I'm like, gosh,
Very
I'm trying to
shy.
have this conversation. And I started realizing I could say some dumb stuff and you would laugh.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool because I'm not really that funny. You know what I mean? But I kind of like that. And so I'm like, okay, this is fine. And then I think you probably wanted to go out and party. And I'm like, I just
did.
wrapped up at the tattoo shop. I don't want to be a single guy. I'm not out to party really. Hey, can we just go back to my house and hang out? And I think you complied and went back to my house and turned on the first 48 and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd I do?
That night or in
Yeah,
general?
I mean, how was our first
The
date?
story?
How was our first date from your perspective?
It's funny because I went back to work the next day and obviously all the girls are like, how did it go? And we had already talked. I think you'd already asked me to go out the next night to go to the Mission Inn to see all the Christmas lights and Spaghetti Factory. And so my boss, who has known me through all the mess, she had asked me how it went. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know. He wants to go out again tonight and go to Spaghetti Factory and Mission Inn. And she's like, oh, I'm like,
Everybody else can see how amazing that is.
She's like, what? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, what do you mean you don't know? And I was like, she's like, here's this nice guy that wants to take you on a nice date and you don't know. I'm all, no. And she's all, do you want to be treated like crap your whole life?
Wow.
And I kind of got mad. Like, who are you? What? No. I'm like, I'm going to go out with him tonight. And yeah, that night, I think you had some rest. You're a little bit more lively. We went to dinner and then walked around Mission Inn.
That was fun.
Yeah. And then,
I still remember that like it was yesterday.
well, yeah, we went, I think it was like a service elevator and we went down, remember?
Yeah, like we're literally sneaking into places you're not supposed to go in the Mission Inn.
Yeah, it was all
And it's
dark
like a castle.
and quiet.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on. I was like, oh, okay. You are kind of bad.
He's a bad guy.
Let's go.
But he's got Jesus in his life.
Yeah, I was so confused.
What is going on here?
And then, yeah, there was a door that said music room. And you're like, let's go in there.
That's right.
And it was like, a banquet hall, the tables. And then on the stage was a piano. And then you just started playing the piano. And I was just looking at you like, okay.
I knew what I was
He's
doing.
a little dynamic.
Yeah, I knew what was up.
So, yeah, I think that's when I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'd hung out like
every day.
Yeah.
Literally, like, I think we were inseparable from that day on, which in our trauma probably wasn't the most healthy thing.
Our rejections.
You know what I mean? Like, and, it's crazy because I had, up to this point, had been a pastor. Just went through a horrendous thing, lost my church, lost everything.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how your faith gets tested in circumstances like that. And it reveals where you're really at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, I realized I still had a lot of trauma in my life. I still had a lot of demons. I didn't know they were demons at the time.
Right.
But, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm a believer. I'm a pastor. You're coming right out of the world. And now I'm basically living at your apartment. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Now I'm starting to spend the night. Now I'm like, hey, I think it's okay if we have sex, and just being candid because I feel like had I had wholeness in that area, it would have avoided a lot of trauma in our own relationship, and like, and you're probably like, well, it's nothing different from my culture.
It wasn't, but when we started going to church and I started like reading and learning, then I was like kind of conflicted, because it was like, I'm reading this, but we're doing this.
Right.
Yeah. I remember always trying to find scriptures that were little bit more lenient in that area, and I
A little
couldn't.
bit more I knew, man. I was like, what is wrong with me? You know, I can't control myself with this woman. No. But, you know, it's just, and I would try to justify it by, well, you know what? I'm going to marry this woman. So technically, I'm going to be devoted to her. And,
Yeah.
but, you know, it's just, that's not the thing to do, you know? And I think, you know, we're in a good place now, but 14 years of intimacy kind of struggles and things of that nature kind of sprung from those early days that I wish we had had some deliverance and counsel even in that season. It is what it is. We're good now, but so we're together almost every day now. Now it's like crazy because we're both dealing with traumatic exes. And I remember, man, gosh, dealing with my ex and her guy, you know what I mean, that was in the closet, wanting to kill him. And now I have this woman I love, and we have another tormentor.
Yeah. I remember when we were dating and I had met you one time and I was distraught because he had broken into my apartment, remember?
Yep.
And he stole my mom's ashes, and he, like, I'm pretty sure he did other stuff, you know.
Yeah, he did nasty stuff.
Yeah, because
I can't get graphic, but
yeah, because he told me that he was going to do it as a threat like months before. But anyways, and I met you, and I didn't cry back then, but I feel like I was crying, and I was like, are you sure you even want to deal with this? Like, because my ex is crazy.
Bring it on. I shot people. No, I'm just kidding.
And you were like, no, it's fine. But this is what you need to do. You need to get a restraining order on him. You need to do this. And it gave me strength to do that because he was so manipulative, and he was able to manipulate me for so long
I saw it.
that I didn't know how to not get sucked into that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got a restraining order on him, and it just so happened that he got in trouble on his own.
Right.
Remember? And got put away for another year.
Yeah.
Maybe a year and a half. And in that time, well, that was, so after you took me to church and I gave my life to the Lord, I don't want to say the Lord did that for me, but I remember praying and just being like, God, I'm asking for him just to leave me alone. Like the torment that he was putting me through.
The same thing, honestly.
I just want him to leave me alone. Like, I don't want anything bad. I just have to be left alone. Like he was literally tormenting me.
Right.
They were going to arrest him on text messages that were against the restraining order.
Yep.
And when I found out he was gone for a year and a half, it was like peace.
Yeah, it was such a relief because that same, and again, it's spiritual, right? Torment is something that we've dealt with in deliverance in our relationship. It was tormenting me because now I'm in a position where, you know, I love this woman. I don't know if we knew you got pregnant yet or asked you to marry me. I don't think at that time. I think it might have been a little bit before that. Eddie was still pretty young.
Yeah.
Because he went away a couple times.
Yeah. This was the first time.
But the first time, I was scared.
No, this was in like March.
Okay.
And we started dating in December. So it was in the beginning.
It was in the beginning.
It was the very beginning.
I remember being scared. I was scared that I have 2 strikes. I've done so well to overcome all that stuff, became a pastor and all that stuff. And I don't know if I can handle it.
Yeah.
Not the torment, but actually taking a bat and going crazy.
Yeah.
It was very tough. But it did show me in that area I have grown And I was free
Mm-hmm.
and delivered in that area of my life.
Yeah.
So there were areas of my life that God really transformed miraculously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was gnarly, but then, I am going through this whole, what am I going to do in my life,
Yeah.
And we went back to church, you gave your life to Christ. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And shoot, I think that's when I decided, you know what? I love this woman. I know we've only been together not even a year, but I want to marry her, And I think did we take a trip to Palm Springs?
That was 3 weeks after.
Because I know I already had it in my heart that I was going to ask you to marry me.
We went back to the Mission Inn when you asked me.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
And then did we go to Palm Springs after that?
It was 3 weeks after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had already asked you
Yeah.
to marry me,
Mm-hmm.
which was beautiful because I took you back to the Mission Inn.
Yep. Back to the music
where
room.
the piano spot was, got down on my knee. And so that was a done deal. But then you find out
3 weeks later.
3 weeks later,
We go to Palm Springs and I'm car sick. And I'm like, what is happening?
you never get car sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
We found out
You were living at your mom's at the time.
we were living at my mom's in transition.
It was like
Dude.
the worst time.
So crazy.
Yeah.
People look at our life now and we have this beautiful home and it's just come at such a cost,
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's just maintaining the faithfulness to God, even in the midst of going through all the hard stuff. But man, I look back, I'm like, yeah, man, and you used to tell me, this gave me so much like energy. Well, babe, hey, get the cardboard boxes. It don't matter as long as we're together
And we're happy.
It don't bother me. But
Because back then, that's all I wanted, I didn't
Yeah.
care about this stuff because my ex tried to like throw that in my face. I'm like, I don't care. I just,
Yeah.
if we're good, then
Yeah.
the rest of it's good.
Yeah.
And that's what I recognize with you is because I knew you were going through the hardest time in your life,
Right.
but you still treated me good.
Yeah.
So I knew that when things were good, things would be really good.
Yeah. It's always been my heart's desire to find someone that I could just love and treat like a queen. It doesn't have to be all, well, if he's not a bad guy, I'm not turned on type stuff. Take advantage of my kindness, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I don't think you ever really did that type of thing, But yeah, so we get married.
Get married, rented a house with a pool.
Yeah, I was doing good. I went back to work
Yeah,
in
you're
the
working
automotive
for Brake Masters.
space.
Yeah.
Moved close to my ex, and so
Mhm.
we could be close to my kids.
Yeah, things were going good.
Yeah.
Eddie was in water polo. He got most improved for 8th grade because you're helping him with the schoolwork.
Yep.
And then
What was the next thing?
someone got out of jail and turned our lives upside down again.
Dude. Yep. He living with us. Everything was going good. Like,
Mhm.
got out of jail. And man, I'll never forget, like, I was so,
I think that's the first time you started having conversations with him, right?
it is.
Because I
It
remember you
actually-
saying like, I think it's going to be okay. And I was like, no.
Yeah, no, you don't know.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And it didn't take
was-
long. I think it was like a week.
Now we had
So-
to do drop offs.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. One time I was like, he did something. And I remember calling him going, meet me here right now. I was dead serious. I'm like, I'm on the way there. Meet me there right now. And he never did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing.
It's a darn good thing. But I remember I was so amped up and so struggling at the time.
Yeah.
I had a situation on my side of the family where my ex had moved my kids into kind of a compound, but living with a bunch of people. And one of them was actually a friend of mine, but he's a young guy. And I remember my daughter, Alyssa, coming over on the weekend, and Steven, my son, he was like a whole nother ball game. He's going through teenage years.
Yeah. You don't want to go to your dad's on the
You
weekend.
don't want to go to your dad's on the weekend. So, but anyway, she came over and was like, Dad, this guy made Steven cry, got in his face. My son's 17 years old. And I'm like, really? Like, I know this guy. So yeah, I kind of, brushed it off. And then he calls me up. My son calls me up and said, hey, Dad, can I get $20 for a game? I'm like, yeah, I'll stop by the house, where you're at. And so I stopped by the house and to give him the $20. And that guy answers the door. And I'm trying to be cool, but the first thing I'm thinking is, okay, I got to address this. He answered the door. He's kind of a friend of mine. I'm like, hey bro, like, I understand that, there was an issue with my son. Like, he's just a kid. Call me if you ever have any problems, like, just give me a call. We'll work through it. And out of nowhere, he flares up on me. Like, what, bro? Getting in my face? Like, telling me what to do in my own house? And like, I'm like, oh shoot. And like, I just got triggered, man. And next thing you know, I'm throwing combinations on this dude. My son's out there. My ex is out there. And I remember thinking, oh no, I can't take this back. So I stopped myself. I had him on the ground. And then my ex-wife's guy tries to play hero and jump on my back and tell me to stop. And I'm like, please get off me. And I remember being so paranoid that there were cameras and
Yeah,
I was going to go back to prison.
Shutting the curtains and peeking out the curtains. I was like, what is happening?
I don't want to live that life anymore. But we were just going through a lot. It's like,
yeah, new marriage, new baby,
new
exes,
baby. And then, and then you have a baby and like, we're no spring chickens, right? I mean, you are at the time a little bit, and that really changed things for you physically, like hormonally, like all that,
She was almost 10 pounds. She was a big kid.
Dude. So, I think we had to work through a lot of trauma with our intimacy and things like that. And, just, I don't know, a lot of stuff we've had to navigate through. But so at that point we start pressing in a little more, to church, and then we end up at the Way World Outreach, right?
Yeah.
What were you thinking at that time? Like for me,
When we went
like,
to the Way?
Yeah, because like that was a big ask for me. When we visited the Way, and I went through Deliverance and all that, I'm like, I think we need to move out of this house with a pool. You know what I mean?
We went to the first service. We were kind of distracted, right? Because Johnny was 2. Your parents were with us.
Right.
But that's when you came in contact with Pastor Marco, and then you met with him. He prayed for you. And then the second time we went was at the Mission. And I think it was like a weekday service.
Oh, okay.
And when we walked in, it was like everyone was worshiping. Everybody had their hands up. It was like a level I had never seen. And that's when I was like, I think we need to be here. Like something's happening here.
But also the people were,
I mean, we're in the middle of San Bernardino.
dude, I think you're one of
at the
4
Mission,
white people
at the Mission.
Yeah, at the Mission at downtown San Bernardino.
But that wasn't the campus we stayed at.
That's right.
But that just kind of opened my eyes to see that there was a move there. So we were commuting because we were with your mom at that time, remember? Yeah. And then we decided to move closer into a 2-bedroom condo.
Right.
To be closer to the church.
Yeah.
What, we spent 2 years there?
Well, we were three and some change at the Way.
Well, yeah, but I think we went there like a year before we moved. I think we're in that condo for like 2 years.
Yeah, we did commute back and forth, but
Yeah.
that was an interesting season too, because I remember in that season, we made a lot of changes to our lifestyle. Like it was a lot more, I don't know, rigid, I guess. Like we didn't drink, we didn't,
Yeah.
there was, because we're dealing with, people who are coming out of, they're all drug addicts or alcoholics or,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, that season for you, I mean, how did you adapt to that? I mean, were you comfortable? Were you?
I think I was just so hungry at that time. Yeah, I was, obviously we were under great leadership,
Yeah.
like pages of notes every time we're in church.
Yeah.
I was part of the women's ministry, so we were always doing the women's Bible studies.
Right.
I got on like the decorating team where we decorated the tables,
Yeah,
and
that's
I was
great.
just very involved. A lot of women's conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, quiet, and
Right.
there's a lot of unworthiness there, and you always rise to the top wherever you go, and I'm just trying to like get somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tried to be really careful, which was tough in a sense for me because, obviously my heart's desire is to have you with me, everything I do. So I really had to be careful not to push you into that. And I think in a sense, there probably were some things I pushed you into inadvertently.
I don't know if I felt pushed. I think I felt more inadequate because the women there were so on fire.
Right.
And I was more like, I will never be like that. That's not me,
Yeah. Well, and at that time, which was crazy because I was going through all this deliverance and starting to do deliverance on people. And I think you even recognized, well, I might have some stuff there too, but it never got addressed at that time.
No, I never got addressed. And then, that season kind of ended.
Right.
And then we moved to Marietta, which we couldn't find a church.
Right.
Like it was very dry.
Great for us financially, like
Yeah.
God moving us back into business and having our own business. That part of it I think was great. But yeah,
But
you're
yeah,
right.
I mean, we didn't go to church. We tried to do a few home things here and there, but I don't know if like maybe resentment started to set in, because I felt like I always needed some kind of prayer and deliverance, but never got it.
Totally.
And then I'm sure those demons just kind of took control,
Yeah.
Pride sets in, and then I'm like, I'm fine.
Totally. Because that and actually that's a generational thing, right?
Yeah.
That you've had to deal with. I've had to deal with a lot of witchcraft and fear and stuff because of some of my background, and yours has really been rooted a lot into, the pride thing and
Yeah. I
I
needed a protector, because it was just little me.
Which is interesting because that's what that Leviathan spirit, how that Leviathan spirit really takes a hold. And it's always from rejection.
Of
Like
course.
rejection usually is always the door opener, but depending on your circumstance, generationally, your personality, like assignments go according to that, right? So yeah, your go-to was, I need to protect myself. Well, Leviathan, the Bible says its scales are its strength, right? It's the king of pride. And all these other things are a protector of the hurt and rejection and stuff like that. That was good. So yeah, that's just at that time, I still needed more deliverance too, but I was farther along the road and learning about the concept biblically and all that stuff. So when we got, when we moved away, to Marietta and started the businesses and all that, there were some good times in the home groups. Like I feel like we did experience deliverance with people, but yeah, just the local church, we just never, and it was far going back to the Way World Outreach, and we just kind of, and really that's what got us praying about. Well, and then 2020 hit. Yeah. Right. Which at that time, now we have 2 businesses. It's going great. 2020 hits. It's just Mike over there. He's getting comfortable. 2020 hits and the world shuts down. California was gnarly. Yeah. We jump in our motorhome and get the motorhome and the boat, and we're like, we're just going to the river. You know what I mean?
Because they weren't shut down out there.
Yeah, the Arizona border. Like, we're going to go to the river. Yeah. And literally we stayed there. I feel like we were there for a month or so almost, and then we came back. It was on and off. Yeah. But in that season, we realized we really, the businesses are going well. We have good systems. We really don't even need to stay in the state. And so maybe we should look for another place to. I was not thinking Nashville. That was way too far out of my realm of thinking.
I don't even know. Were we even thinking about moving until it was brought up to us?
Well, I think for me, I started having conversations about, employment tax and stuff like that. You could go other places and so for me, I'm thinking along those lines. And I was always searching for where spiritually can we land? Yeah. Where we can.
Well, we were trying to find a house. Remember, we were ready to buy a house.
That's right.
And what we could get was just like,
that's right,
not great
for the price in California and all that.
And then an opportunity came to come visit Nashville.
Right.
And we did a whole trip. We went to go see your sister in Missouri, my sister in Ohio. Mm-hmm. So we came out in September of 2020.
Yeah.
Visited Nashville.
And then found out that we have a friend that has a business in Southern California who lives in Nashville, has been doing it for 3 years, traveling back and forth, and it actually works.
Yeah. So we just started praying.
Yeah.
And the Lord was like, yep.
777. 777.
So we were thinking like the following spring. Right?
Yeah, we're like, we'll move in a year. We'll get our
Johnny.
ducks in
We
a
just
row.
got Johnny back in school,
right?
Because all the public schools were online, so we got her into the Christian private school where she was able to go. She was able to go.
Yeah, and everything happened so fast, and we were going to counseling at the time. Yeah, for our marriage and stuff. And it's funny because in counseling, I remember like we had already both got the sign from the Lord, like the 3-7 sign. I'll tell that story just real quick, but we're here in Nashville on this trip and we're not getting along great either. I think we were struggling at the time.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was rough. And, but we're having this conversation and we're getting ready to drive up to my sister's. Yeah. So we're driving through Nashville and you say, hey, look at the odometer, because we're talking about, is this really a place where we could move? Like, it's so far and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, look at the odometer. And it was 7777.
Yeah,
right?
It's 4 sevens.
It's 4 sevens. And I'm like, okay, there's 3 sevens there, but it's 4. Is this, so I'm trying to rationalize it. And I really heard the Lord clearly go, nope. I'm like, oh, I'm wrestling through that. And then not a minute later, I get a text message from my mom. Mm-hmm. And she sends me a picture because they're already at my sister's and they're having bike night. And I love Harleys. And she's like, look at all the bikes. You got to get up here. They're having it another day. And I didn't even see the bikes. All I saw was there was a car in the picture she sent with a license plate in the center that said 777.
Yeah. We were like, no way.
We were like, no way. And I knew 100%, and you agreed. And it's like, yeah. So it's a matter of, okay, we're going to have to move. But, we go back, we got to tie up a lot of loose ends. We're going to counseling and I'm struggling. Honestly, I'm like, no, let's do it in spring. And you're like, I'm ready to go. So it's funny because, when it comes to the little things, you tend to be a little more reserved and maybe have a little more fear on stuff. But when it comes to the big things, you're like, I'm down. You know what I mean? And so that really pushed me to go, okay, all right, it's a done deal. And I didn't even know all that God would do.
Yeah.
All I knew was we needed to find community, church community.
Yeah.
Nashville was thriving.
Mm-hmm.
We needed a better financial situation with, taxes and things like that.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be out from under the tyranny, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a prophetic word. Huh?
And we're ready to buy a house.
Ready to buy a house. Yeah. And we were looking at houses going, whoa, look what you can get for, for this price and that. And so, all this stuff started coming together. And then we get a prophetic word from our friend, shows up to our house one day with a notebook and pens. And she's like, I just heard the Lord say that you need to be writing. And remember, part of my shift in this whole thing was, I just need to get back to my first love, sharing my testimony. I need to write my book. And so when she said that, it kind of clicked. Like, I know that's a mission that I need to be on when we move out here. And I don't think it would have been completed. I wouldn't have completed that work had we not moved out here. But as soon as we got here, we bought our first house, which I wanted to rent. You're like, no, babe, we need to buy this house.
Yeah.
And thank God we did, because that was a great investment.
Well, we were planning on moving springtime, and we had this real estate agent who was just on top of it.
She was on top of it.
We literally, so we visited in September 2020, and we closed escrow December 15th, 2020.
Yeah.
That's how fast it was.
Quick.
So we moved January 21.
Yep. And we had to have a lot of faith, because our businesses, our family, everybody was still in California. And I'm putting my faith in the team that I had there, that they're going to understand, that they're going to be. So it was some big faith moves, I think. But then, we get here and we buy the house, build in strong community. We get plugged into an amazing church, but still leery. Like, I don't think we really plugged into the church for the first year.
Yeah. I think, coming from the way we lived at the way.
We did.
We were there, 3-4 times a week.
Yes.
So I think, I was kind of like, let's just see how this goes.
And I think it was a struggle for us relationally too. Like, you had decided to go back to doing hair.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be writing a book.
Yeah.
And our intimacy was struggling. And I really felt like I opened a door again to rejection. And, I think that almost really drew us apart, came in between.
It was rough.
And I had to get some more deliverance at that time. And I really feel like I did open that door again, and it was having an impact on our relationship. And so I think, when I dealt with that, it really helped to alleviate some stuff. But then there were some things you were really struggling with,
Yeah. I just remember being angry all the time and not even knowing why.
And then we went to Belonging Company conference. That opened the door to some conversations, and then I was able to really pray deliverance over you. I think that was a key moment.
Yeah. I think I was so ready for something to shift and change. It had been so many years. I was like, okay, I'm done. I need freedom. And so, that conference, I just gave it my all.
Yeah. And I think we dealt with a lot of things, but then we missed some stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like there were some things that were still there. There were still things that I was working through. And, you know, I think the big shift kind of came with, you know, my guys that I meet with on Wednesday
Yeah.
have been probably the most important thing.
Yeah. That's probably been the coolest thing for me to see, is for you to find a group of men that you can meet with and open up and pray for you when you're struggling, because you've never had that.
Never had it. Nope. Guys that hold authority, you know, guys that can pray deliverance,
Yeah.
who can prophesy,
Your
who can
community was
discern.
always people that needed something from you.
Totally.
That always looked up to you.
Totally. And so to be part of that group and receive a lot of deliverance, a lot of prophetic word, a lot of encouragement, I think, you know, has been huge and got me to a place where I could help you.
Yeah.
You know, and not be part of the problem all the time. And I remember Justin Allen, you know, who knows everything.
Yeah.
And Josh, two guys I trust, which is amazing that you allow me to do that, that I can find people that I trust, that I can confide in. But, you know, he turned us on to Dr. Glenn Hill, connection codes. And we've done counseling, right? Like been through all trauma stuff.
Yeah.
Like everything that can be against your marriage.
Yeah.
We've encountered. And I know for me, I didn't realize how important the concept of being in tune with your emotions and knowing how to process those emotions with another person is what keeps you connected intimately. And realize that, wow, we don't connect relationally through logistics. The only way that we stay intimately connected is through emotions. And for me, if I can't even recognize what's happening in my own life, there's no way we can relationally connect. So I had to get to a place for me too, where I had to know what's happening in my life, where this fear comes from, and be able to process it with you. And then I realized how important that is for deliverance. Because that not being able to process those emotions turns into woundedness. And that's where the demonic spirits gain a legal right to now be able to torment. And so I'll let you speak to this too, but like, I think that was a turning point in our relationship. Absolutely. You know, together 14 years, probably almost been divorced several times along the road, but both had the same patterns of struggles in our last relationship and stuff. And I think this was a real game changer for us to both submit and go, this is hard. Yeah. Really hard, but right. Probably a little more easier for me because I'm dynamic and you freeze and you hold, but so for you, I know it was a real challenge because you've always had that shut down. Yeah. I had to really be quiet and alone and really figure out what I was feeling. Yeah. Because I didn't even know what I was feeling. And it wasn't overnight. This has taken a year. Yeah. And because it was always masked by anger, right? It's always a secondary. Well, you know, going back to my childhood, I never processed any emotions. It was just swept under the rug. It was shut down. And then even, you know, fighting with my ex, like I never worked through anything. Yeah. It would be like we'd fight until the fight was done, and then we would act like nothing happened because we never talked through anything. So it's like my first marriage just enforced what my childhood already brought me. Yeah. So I really had to figure out what I'm feeling. And it's funny because a lot of it, again, was guilt and shame. And those were the two. I was like, I don't feel shame. I don't feel guilt. I'm not guilty. I'm not. Why would I feel guilty for that? Why I feel guilty for that? Feel shame for that. That's probably why, because those are the two root feelings that were in there. Yeah. And I think and we're not perfect at it, but I think we're aware and I think we're working on it. And it really has intimately brought us close together. I feel really good.
Yeah. That
You know.
and Deliverance, I think, has been,
Well,
life-changing.
and that's where I'm going is like, I think if we didn't understand this first, I think this has opened the door specifically even for you and me to know what's actually there,
Yeah.
to even go after the spiritual side of it. You think about Jesus telling Nicodemus, man, if I tell you earthly things and you don't understand, how are you even going to understand heavenly things?
Yeah.
And I think when you started becoming in tune with what's happening, the Lord started to show me, okay, there's a spirit of shame. There's actually self-rejection there because of that shame.
Yeah.
I think you had torment
Oh,
there, unforgiveness and bitterness, anger.
Yeah.
So, and it was all tied together. And, you know, I finally got to a place where I was just so pouring my heart out, wanting your freedom, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I remember, and this is fairly recent, you know, it's like, I remember waking up in the morning crying, deep cries, like, God, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I so deeply crying? And I poured my heart out, and I journal in the morning, my prayers and stuff. And I remember the Lord just telling me, you know, she's the most important person in your life. You're praying deliverance over all these other people.
Yeah.
But you need to treat this the same way.
Yeah.
So I got my pen and I said, okay, Lord, what's there? And I started jotting those things down. And then you and I, you know, you got up in the morning and we just had a deep conversation.
Yeah.
And you're not a crier, but now I am seeing you cry,
Yeah.
you know, which is beautiful because you have beautiful eyes. You're a good crier, babe.
I'm not an ugly crier.
No. You don't have the ugly cry. But, you know, just seeing the sensitivity of the Spirit hit your heart and knowing, okay, well, that's where we're going. And then seeing the breakthrough and then seeing you discern also things that I missed, you know, because we go after those things. I feel the break. You felt the break. And then I just asked you, are you sensing anything else? You start crying.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that pride's come back, you know, and we go after that and it breaks. And people can say all they want. We've experienced enough now. You can never convince me that the gospel, that deliverance isn't part of the gospel.
Yeah.
For believers, it's part of the package.
Right.
Because even since that day, I know you can attest to this. There's been just a full-on shift.
Yeah. I think obviously I've been through deliverance before, but I think with this time, with knowing what I'm feeling has helped, especially with the self-rejection. I've noticed it, like, you know, just looking in the mirror or something like, oh, I need to fix this or something. And then I'd be like, whoa, I never realized how I let that thought would come in and it would just kind of control. And so, yeah, taking those thoughts captive because I know what thoughts I was having instead of just not even know what I was feeling, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And when you get delivered too, now you have more ability instead of fighting that spirit.
Yeah.
To actually crucify the flesh, which is hard enough to do anyway.
Yeah. Especially when, again, you don't even know you're having those thoughts
Right.
because you don't recognize them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
You're so pretty.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about anything else?
I think you got it covered.
Anything else on your heart? Just want the world to know that you're my favorite person in the whole world. And I'm super excited about what's coming ahead because we've been through so much stuff and had so much victory in our life and overcome so many things. And we're not perfect, but, you know, and there's a long way to go. But I'm excited to do life and the assignment that God has given us and doing it together. I feel complete. I've never felt complete before. I thought it was always my thing and you're supporting it.
I probably was, you know, obviously I found a lot of identity in doing hair
Right.
because, you know, I could minister to them or I could make them feel better by making their hair look good.
Yeah.
And it was always like, well, this is my thing and that's his thing. So yeah, my retirement is exciting because I'm letting that go and I'm joining forces with you.
That's right. Come on. We're going to steamroll some demons, dude.
Yeah.
Shauna, dude, she can bring it, bro. She cast the spirit of lust out of me. Ooh, and it was a bad one. I coughed and threw up and everything. It's weird. Like I saw another side of you. I saw the boldness rise up in you in that moment. I'm like, that's not my wife. She's fighting for me right now. That was a great experience. But anyway, I love you, babe. Thank you for doing this. I know this is way out of your comfort zone. But again, this is another evidence, I think, of what God has done in our lives and in your life. And I'm super excited. And yeah, we're going to have to do this again. I think it'd be cool. What my hopes is, even when I have guests, is to maybe have you involved and to have one of my spiritual sons over there involved to get behind over here and
It's me. Hey.
and get involved in the conversation. But hope you guys enjoyed this. It's been a real special thing for me. We're sitting in my living room in my house, and this house has been a blessing. The Lord is all over this place.
Yeah.
And thank you for supporting. Remember to like and subscribe and share this. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm excited for the next episode. Make sure you catch it. Love you guys. See you next time.